Yes, indeed, folks, you're listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. Hopefully you enjoyed Ask the Murloc. It'll be back every week. Now, before I go on, allow me to mention a couple of things. The first is congratulations to Fatty, who, you may remember, is the girl who won our WoW Idol 2009 contest. Well, she also won the BlizzCon 2009 Song Contest. So congratulations, well deserved, in my honest opinion. So you can now say that you knew her before she was famous. Also, congratulations to X-Cross, who works with my wife on various things, and will of course be doing the music video for Fatty's Nerdcore, who won the grand prize in the BlizzCon Machinima contest. So yes, there's a lesson to be learned here. If you have something to do with WoW Radio, you'll win loads of nice prizes. Except for these guys. Yeah, McHeath and Drewby of Oblivious Films, who did not win the Machinima contest, probably in no small part to the fact that I was stuck voice acting in their movie. Yeah, my fault, you can blame me entirely for this. They did a movie called The Grind 3 Minutes, whereby they gave me the chance to rant for about 20 seconds about achievements. If you want to check it out, you go to tinyearl.com/thegrind3. That's tinyearl.com/thegrind3, and you can have a look at it. It's pretty cool. I think it's a really good movie. Except for the 20 seconds that I'm in it. That kind of ruins it. But otherwise, the other 2 minutes, 40 seconds, absolutely fantastic. So well done to them. Right, let's get back on with this, shall we? We're going to talk about Raids and Dungeons. And we're going to talk about Raids and Dungeons in Cataclysm. We're going to talk about how thrilled I am that they've finally come to their senses. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, part of the feature list for Cataclysm is, quote, loads of endgame content. Specifically raid content. Loads of endgame raid content. And I thought, ooh, exciting, thrilling, perhaps. It looks cool. So let me tell you a little bit about what's going to be happening in Cataclysm as regards to the raid content. There are going to be, from launch I may add, 4 raid instances. And I'm not just talking the Wrath definition of 4 raid instances. You know what the Wrath definition is, of course. Naxxramas and 3 one-boss instances, one of which is a complete joke. Yeah, that was their definition of it. Now, Blizzard seems to have gotten it into their heads that this was a particularly bad idea. So what we're getting 4 instances, 2 of which have 6 bosses each, one of which has 4 bosses, and another which has 1 boss. Yes. And not only that, of course, but they will contain 10 and 25-man modes, and they will contain normal and heroic modes, which is all of the stuff that they've been putting in from patch 3.2. How cool is that? Now that is how you start off an expansion with a bang. Oh yes. Without a shadow of a doubt. Now, if you have a look at the list of the instances, and of course MMO Champion is a good source for this, naturally our coverage is as well, but this is a bit more convenient for you, there are 4 raids, and these raids consist of, as I recall correctly, the Halls of Origination, which is going to be in, if I recall correctly, the Uldum area. It's also going to feature the Blackwing Descent, which is an entirely new raid inspired by the original Blackwing lair, with new loot, art, and creatures, and of course with Nefarian making a reappearance. The Firelands. The Firelands, oh yes, which is a elemental plane of fire, which of course, it does not mean it's going to be Molten Core, thank God. No, it's going to be an elemental plane of fire, which we can assume to be a more open sort of world, and you will fight Ragnaros again at his full strength. Interesting. Very nice. Very nice indeed. And there will be one more, if I recall correctly. And I can't honestly remember what it is. But yeah, there's going to be 4 of them. I think it's the Abyssal Moor. Oh no, yes, it's Grimbertol, Skywall, the Firelands, and Blackwing Descent. I'm talking about Uldum. I'm an idiot. Uldum's 5, man. So many cool things, it confuses me. Grimbertol, Skywall, the Firelands, and Blackwing Descent. The Skywall, I believe, will be the one boss, as I recall correctly. And then Grimbertol, Firelands. I would think, at a guess, the Firelands and Blackwing Descent will be the 2 big ones, 6-mans. 6 bosses even. And the Grimbertall will be the slightly smaller instance. Looks nifty. Now, I'm not really one to care about what they look like. Only that they don't look like the stuff that we've already seen. The difference between inspired by and a blatant copy of is something I shouldn't have to explain to you. One of these is a good thing, one of them is not. One invokes a wonderful sense of nostalgia. May I remind you of Zul Amad? Zul Amad, of course, inspired by Zul'Gurub. It gave you some nice little memories of how Zul'Gurub was. But it wasn't the same instance. Thank God. Same thing. Blackwing Descent, not the same as Blackwing Lair, even though one of the bosses is the same model, who hopefully they'll probably update, I'd imagine. That's cool. I can deal with that, because Nefarian was awesome. Without a doubt. So was Rag, I might add. So the fiery thing, the Firelands as they call them, will, of course, hopefully, not be anything like Molten Core. Not whatsoever. If you have a look at a lot of the screenshots that are available on MMO Champ, you will notice many cool things that do not look anything like Molten Core. You'll also notice the Blackwing Descent doesn't look anything like Blackwing Lair did. It's been remodeled. It's completely new and awesome. There's a very nice map that you can see of the Firelands, and it seems to be a much more open kind of setup. And indeed, there was a castle with a moat of lava on it. That's also very cool. Without a shadow of a doubt. Looking very nice indeed. Now, in combination with the way that they've set up the leveling, which is something I'm going to be talking about a bit later on, I feel that this approach to raid content shows a fundamental turn in Blizzard's way of looking at the game. I think they're realizing from this point that their initial raid content in Wrath of the Lich King was horrible. I think they've accepted that. Never let it be said that Blizzard does not learn from its mistakes, because it does. Any good company learns from its mistakes. That's how it survives. If it doesn't, of course, it is doomed to repeat them over and over again until all of its subscribers leave for Gaia Online or whatever other furry hellspawn dimension that they happen to go to. What they're doing is focusing on the veteran players here. All of the stuff that's being brought in, which of course includes the thing that I'm perhaps most excited about, which is the Path of the Titans, is aimed at the veteran players. It's convenient, of course, that in the upheaval of Azeroth they are able to revamp the old content for the, say, lower levels as well. Admittedly, they are trying to encourage people to roll alts with the whole new class-race combinations. But that's more of something that just comes along with the territory. If you're gonna do a whole Cataclysm-style thing, then there's really no excuse to leave the stuff that wasn't so great intact. Not at all. Having this great arsenal of endgame content with both the 10 and 25s and, of course, the normal and heroic modes in from the get-go brings me great hope for the future of the game. The alternative progression path that comes along with the Path of the Titans also. The way that they're just willing to tear down everything they've done and just start from scratch again. Go back to basics. That's good. I don't believe that they should really build on what they've done so much in Wrath of the Lich King. There are very few positive points that I recall. Let's be honest. I don't remember all that many things of Wrath that I'd like to see come back. The questing system, maybe. The 10 and 25-man modes, yeah, sure. And, of course, the recently introduced normal and heroic concepts. That's all we need. The rest of it can just go to hell. The one instance per tier, that can go. The badge changes, that can just get thrown in the fiery pit. The recycling of Naxxramas and now Onyxia, yeah, that can all go as well. We're not interested in that. I think they realise now that they can just write off what happened with Wrath and hopefully try and entice people back to the game. And they're going to need to, because they're coming up against some stiff competition over the next year or so. We, of course, have Aeon, which some people are inexplicably excited about. To me, it just looks like some generic Asian grindfest. Maybe I'll be receiving some angry emails later to prove me wrong. We've also got stuff like the new Star Wars game, The Old Republic, looking very exciting indeed. Not only that, but the new Star Trek game. Champions Online coming out very shortly. More competition. Lots more competition. That's good. Competition is a very positive thing. I never really understand the people who will defend Blizzard to the hilt against anyone that believes or indeed has the tenacity or the balls to say, hey, this game does this better. I never understand that. I never understand that protectionist, white knighting attitude. It's something I see all over the internet with the advent of new media. This need, this desire, this compulsion, perhaps, with finding someone that you like and then defending them against all adversaries. Guys, seriously, Blizzard does not need your sympathy, does not need your defense. Blizzard is not some hapless 6-year-old in the playground being beaten up by kids 2 years older and 2 times bigger. Blizzard is not the bullied child. Blizzard is not the quiet one in the corner, upset, and you so want to go over there and just give them a big hug and a pat on the head and a lollipop. No, Blizzard is a company. Blizzard is an international corporation with world renown. They do not need you, of all people, to come in and wave your sword and shield in the air to defend them. They do not require that, and just stop. It's embarrassing. I cannot imagine the thoughts of Blizzard when they see people doing that. It's like, oh god, why? We've got such a bad reputation for our community now, thanks to these people. No, criticism is great, and competition is even better. Because while criticism can of course be taken on board, competition and the financial clout of other games taking away your subscribers is something you cannot ignore. And there are 2 things you can do. You can roll over and die, or you can up your game. You can bring the A game back, and you can bring in this new exciting stuff, like Cataclysm is doing. You can understand what it is that keeps people playing. Raid content. And of course PvP content. The rated battlegrounds. What a genius idea. Wasn't that something I was also asking for a couple of months ago? Bringing back battlegrounds as the most important mode of PvP. I think this is another thing they're learning from. Arenas, a big failure. Something I've said time and again, something many players have said. Arenas, okay, have them in, but for God's sake, do not prioritise them. Bring back what worked. Battlegrounds worked. Battlegrounds were awesome. I liked Battlegrounds. That was the kind of PvP I could get behind. So you're bringing back both forms of great endgame content, the great raids and the great Battlegrounds, making them the primary method of post-85 progression. And then throwing something else in the mix there with the Path of the Titans, which no doubt I will cover in a future show, maybe even mention a little bit later as we talk about the leveling process. That's exciting. And that's that one big sign, that glaring neon streaking across the night, blinding you, saying, hi, we're Blizzard, we listen. Hi, we're Blizzard, we see our internal metrics, and we know how to fix it. Hi, we're Blizzard, we see our falling subscriber numbers and the upcoming wolves at the door. We know exactly how to fend them off. We know what the community likes. We know what the guys who really matter within the game like. As in the players who have stuck with them through thick and thin, not the casual fair weather, entitled players, the scrubs. We're talking about both the casual and the hardcore players that have stuck with the game for this long and they knows what they likes. Not these new guys who just come in, play for 2 months and then just go away, who just demand everything, handed to them on a silver platter. Not those people. No, the real casuals, the real hardcore players, the real veteran players. Those who got on board from the get-go and didn't need the peer pressure of 20 of their friends to be convinced that World of Warcraft was a good game because they could see it. They could touch it, they could feel it, they could play it, they could enjoy the thrill. Raiding provides that, Battlegrounds provide that, and the old questing provided that. So revamps of all 3 and a massive injection of new content is just what this game needs. Will it get me playing again? Pfft. You shouldn't even need to ask that question. Not after today's show. My name is Total Biscuit, you're listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio. When we come back after the break, we'll be talking about the new way of leveling and the Path of the Titan system, what Blizzard can do to ensure that the one good element of Wrath, i.e. the questing, can get even further progressed into a realm that can only be described as fantastic. I have a bit of update news for you. I heard you like this. I'll be right back after this one. Enjoy.
Live from the Blue Police Tower, high up in the Storm Peaks, it's Nubcake News with award-winning anchor Total Biscuit, bringing you the news that matters, regardless of your own misguided beliefs. Welcome to Nubcake News. Coming up later in the program, a shocking exposé of the life and times of the second Jawmanga worm, who, stuck in the shadow of his more prominent brother, turned to drugs and alcohol to ease the pain. But first, confirmed inside sources have leaked to Nubcake News first, as opposed to other unofficial sites, the details of the 4th World of Warcraft expansion, which by all accounts plans to solve every possible in-game problem ever. They're calling it World of Warcraft Government-Backed Urban Regeneration Scheme. Using our inside sources and an effective form of hypnosis, several Blizzard employees agreed to be interviewed under a cloak of anonymity. The first, who we will call Chris M. Sorry, no, that's too obvious, yes. C. Metzen. We have used incredibly amateurish voice actors to hide their true identities. Mr. Metzen, sorry, Chris, thank you for joining us in your secret underground bunker today. A pleasure to be here, as always. So, Chris, tell us a little bit about the aim of this remarkable new expansion. Well, our modus operandi this time around was to provide an antidote to the violence, grit, an overwhelming sense of apocalyptic doom that so unfairly tarnished the reputation of Cataclysm. Unfairly? Wasn't the entire expansion based around the complete annihilation of vast swathes of the Azerothian landscape? As well as planned Armageddon by several extremely powerful malevolent beings? Well, yes, but we don't think the player base really saw the upside of it all. And what upside would that be? Well, Desolus looked really nice, but regardless, we think it's time for a real turnaround of the fortunes of Azeroth's denizens, as opposed to a constant state of perpetual warfare and mutually assured destruction. This is why we are developing World of Warcraft Government-Backed Urban Regeneration Project, which will include many exciting features. Well, can you tell us a little bit about these new features? Absolutely. First and foremost, the aim of the expansion is to fix the problems with World of Warcraft, not create new ones. First and foremost, we'll be removing all of those stupid new class-race combinations like Tauren Paladins and Undead Hunters. They made no sense whatsoever in terms of the lore anyway, and whoever wrote those in should be shot. So, who exactly was responsible for the new class-race lore? How the hell should I know? I'm just a lore guy. So it wasn't you then? Not to my knowledge, but then I did eat a vast amount of cocaine. We at Blizzard don't do anything by halves, so not only will we be removing all of those bizarre class-race combinations, we will be doing what we should have done in the first place, and that is removing all races that aren't troll. Yes, when you talk about it that way, it certainly does make sense. Can we expect any major terrain changes? Well, without a doubt. After the devastation of Orgrimmar, Astronar, and numerous other Alliance towns that nobody gives a damn about, the Blizzard Emergency Management Agency BEMA has facilitated both disaster relief and the earmarking of government funds to help rebuild and create a new and better society for all concerned. The Alliance towns have been using the money to create better public transport links, rebuild schools, construct new community centres and play areas, as well as a new supermax prison for the rightful incarceration of anyone who plays a female dwarf. All 7 of them. I can't imagine that's a particularly big prison. It's sort of like a big tent with a 15-foot wall of sorcerous flames around it. Well, now that you mention how the Alliance towns will be using the government grants, but what about the Horde, now under the command and leadership of Garrosh Hellscream? They built a railgun. A what?
Ha ha ha! Now aim it at Silvermoon City!
But sir, the Blood Elves are our allies.
Silence, insect! The elves are no allies of mine. Now aim the railgun.
What ammunition would His Excellency like today?
Death!
I'm not sure death is considered an ammunition type.
Did I ask you what you thought, whelp? Load the railgun with death.
Death it is, sir.
Excellent. Now bring me my Cairn Bloodhoof steak and make it rare this time.
Yes, his style of leadership can be considered unorthodox, but it is important to ensure that all factions maintain their independence and continue to make decisions themselves. To explain more about his plans, may I introduce you to the director of BEMA, Mr. Barok Ubonga.
Thank you, Chris. It is a pleasure to be here today. I feel it is our duty to ensure a message of hope and unity to all the peoples of Azeroth, regardless of race, colour, creed or class. To this end, I am willing to offer a grant of 4,000 gold to absolutely anyone to help them pursue their dreams. However, they will have to earn it through compulsory volunteer community service. And what will that entail? All manner of things. Peeling gold seller corpses off the pavements of our streets, feeding homeless orphan children, providing a 24/7 bodyguard detail for Gammon. The list of infuriatingly demeaning tasks is endless. We will call them daily quests. While that all sounds great, you've come under fire recently for your ambitious and some would say satanic plan to provide universal healing for all denizens of Azeroth. The importance of healing in modern Azeroth cannot be understated. Without it, raids would cease to function, arenas would be over in seconds, and good luck getting anyone back up again after you've died. Did you know there are 4.8 million players without healers? This situation cannot continue. We must ensure that everyone has the option for universal healing, or if they want, they can keep their old healer. That's what this is, a choice. And how would you respond to your critics who claim that government-backed universal healing will bankrupt pug and guild healers, devalue their skills, and leave us wide open for a second invasion by the Burning Legion? This is nonsense. Every other civilized world in the known universe has universal healing. Why do you think it's called universal? In fact, I am reliably informed that those who didn't have it were wiped out by Sargeras in a fiery apocalypse. Do you want to be wiped out in a fiery apocalypse, Total Biscuit? Truly, I do not. Barok, thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. Always a pleasure. So, the best WoW expansion to date, without a doubt, truly a chance for genuine equality. This reporter is off to buy a full set of Tier 10 with food stamps. This has been Nubcake News. Good night.